Make a mark on the cable at the defined dimension. Make a ring cut using the Tyco Electronics EXRM 1004 ringing tool. This is a very sharp tool, so light pressure should be used. The ring cut should be made to go less than 90% of the way through the jacket, so you do not damage the concentric neutral wires underneath. Expose one of the concentric neutral wires and begin to pull back toward the ring cut. Take care not to break the neutral wire by over-twisting or bending. Once back to the ring cut, remove the jacket, starting at the cable end, following the spiral made by the neutral wire. Fold the neutral wires back and handle according to the manufacturer's instruction. Make a mark on the cable at the defined dimension. To assist in ease of operation of the tool, a thin coating of silicone grease or talcum powder can be applied to the surface area being removed. Set the blade on the Speed System 1700 series semicon scorer to the correct depth on a piece of scrap cable first, before applying the tool on the actual cable to be used. Adjust the dial left or right to lower or retract the blade. Each number on the dial indicates thousandths of an inch. Set the tool blade to score less than 90% of the way through the semicon material, so you do not cut into the insulation underneath. Set the blade lever to square cut, left position. Open the jaws of the tool wider than the diameter of the cable by turning the knob. Position the tool on the cable with the arrow toward the cable end, with the blade aligned perfectly with your mark. Turn the knob until the tool fits snugly on the cable and the knob turns freely without tension. Rotate the tool counterclockwise, at least one turn to complete your square cut. Slide the blade lever to spiral cut, right, and continue rotating the tool counterclockwise, ensuring that you are heading toward the end of the cable. When you get to the end of the cable, remove the tool and locate the final cut on the semicon. Pry up the end of the semicon with the SC13 semicon roller grip. Spiral back to the ring cut. Peeling off at an angle to avoid lifting the semicon. Mark the insulation at the proper dimension. Install the spring clamp aligned with your mark. Use the waxed twine to ring cut all the way through the insulation. Hold the twine and pull back and forth across the insulation. The friction will generate heat, which will easily cut through the insulation. Apply silicone grease to the knife blade to ease the blade through the hard insulation. Make 2 longitudinal cuts, 1/2 inch apart, less than 90% of the way through the insulation, so you do not damage the conductor below. Pry the 1/2 inch piece up and remove. Roll the remaining insulation off, being careful not to damage the conductor strands. You can sand out longitudinal superficial imperfections from the cable insulation by using a non-conductive emery cloth. Sand only if these imperfections or contaminants cannot be removed with an approved cable cleaning solvent. Uniformly sand to remove imperfections by pulling the cloth back and forth across the insulation. Do not focus on only one area, as this will create a flat spot. A flat spot will trap air inside a cable accessory. This is your final opportunity to make sure the cable is clean and dry. Work wipes from the end of the cable back to the semicon as to not drag the conductive carbon from the semicon onto the insulation. This conductive material left on the insulation will cause a failure.
Complete written instructions are included with each kit. Be sure to read and follow these instructions carefully before installing. You will need the proper cable preparation tools and a clean burning propane gas torch. For your own safety, please pay attention to the following precautions before beginning the installation. Failure to follow these warnings could result in injuries caused by fire, explosion, or electrical hazard. First, make sure the area you are working in has good ventilation. Check all torch connections for leaks before lighting. This product is covered by a material safety data sheet. Before installing any electrical accessory, read and follow the safety requirements and the written instructions. In addition, be sure to follow the safety instructions established by your own organization. The laboratory demonstration that follows is not intended to represent field installation conditions or your specific safety procedures.
According to the voltage class of the cable, simply cut back the jacket material, referring to the dimensions listed in your installation instructions. Care must be taken not to nick or cut the dielectric when removing the semicon. When working with a copper tape or LC shielded cable, you should now install the ground braid. Flare the moisture-blocked end of the ground braid and place it onto the metallic tape butted up to the cable jacket. Attach the braid to the shield by placing 2 wraps of the spring clamp over the braid and shield, then bend the braid back over the spring. Continue to wrap the spring over the braid. Tighten the spring by twisting it in the direction it is wrapped and secure it with the copper foil tape provided in your installation kit. Two alternatives to the copper tape or LC shield cable are the wire shield cable and the unishield cable. With a wire shield cable, at this time you will need to bend the drain wires back over the jacket and away from the cable end. With the unishield cable, bend the drain wires back over the semicon as shown in this graphic. If a lug is to be used on any of the cable types, install it at this time. Clean and deburr the lug. If the step between the lug barrel and the insulation is greater than 1/8 inch, taper the insulation to meet the lug barrel. If you are installing 25 to 35 kV terminations with a lug, you will need to build up the diameter of the lug barrel. Make sure the surfaces are dry and clean before proceeding. Now, using light tension, wrap 2 layers of red sealant around the lug barrel. Place the shim tube over the red sealant. Apply the stress relief material at the semicon cutback. Remove the backing from the short angle cut piece of the SRM. Place the tip of the SRM at the semicon cutback and stretch it to approximately 1/2 of its original width. Tightly wrap 3 to 4 layers so that the semicon step is filled. Make sure the SRM overlaps both the insulation and the semicon by no more than 1/4 inch. Taper the SRM down to meet the insulation. Tear or snap off any excess material. Follow the same procedure if you use Unishield or wire shield cable. Wire shield cables, the drain wires need to be lifted away from the cable jacket at this time. As with other cables, clean the jacket with an approved solvent. Remove the backing from the red sealant. Using light tension, wrap 2 layers of red sealant onto the jacket under the drain wires. Lay the drain wires evenly back over the jacket and press them into the red sealant. Using light tension, wrap 2 more layers of red sealant over the braid and the first 2 layers of sealant. Now position the red HV tube at the bottom edge of the red sealant on the jacket. If working on a Unishield or wire shield cable, twist the drain wires to make a ground lead at this time. Begin shrinking at the ground end and work toward the lug. Allow the tube to cool enough to touch before proceeding. If necessary, trim excess tubing from the lug area as shown. Inspect your installation. Reheat any flat spots or wrinkles. With this, the indoor termination is complete. For outdoor terminations, now is the time to install the skirts or sheds. According to the voltage class of the cable, determine the number of total skirts you will need. The correct number and positioning are shown in the instructions. Position the first skirt and shrink it into place. Hold the edge of the skirt lightly with pliers. Shrink as shown. Only the collar will shrink. If additional skirts are to be installed, position them so that they are 4.5 inches between the top ends of the skirts. Make sure the skirts are all facing in the same direction. Shrink them in place. Check that the skirts have been evenly shrunk and appear symmetrical with no tilt or sag. If the termination is to be used in the inverted position, make sure that the skirts are also installed in an inverted position. Your outdoor termination is now complete.